Okay, here we go. All right, now in chapter 10, you've had section 2, which was mean, mode, and median. Then you had section 4, which was stem and leaf plot. And that was a way to organize data. Now you have another way to organize data called a box and whisker plot. And so we're going to interpret box and whisker plots. So make sure you take good notes here and pay attention as to how you construct a box and whisker plot. So what is a box and whisker plot? It organizes the data values into 4 quartiles, 4 segments, which are called quartiles. They are not of the same length. The box and whisker plot looks like this. These segment lengths do not have to be equal in length. But what's true is that they contain the same number of data values. Each quartile contains the same number of data values. They each contain 25% of the values. So 25% of the values lie here, 25% lies here, here, and here. In the big box here, 50% of the data lies in the big box, so on and so forth. Now, in order to construct a box and whisker plot, your data has to be ordered. So if it's not ordered, you have to order it from least to greatest. So here's some data. There are 11 values, and I've already ordered it from 173 to 295. Those are 11 data values. Okay? So the first thing you do is order it. Make sure it goes from least to greatest. And we write those down. All right. So the way we're going to come up with this box and whisker plot, the first thing you're going to do underneath it is draw a number line. And on that number line, you just want to make sure you contain all the values of the data. So it has to go from 173 to 295. Now, it doesn't have to start at 173. You want to start it with either a multiple of 10 or a multiple of 5. And then you're going to decide to go up by a certain amount until you get and cover the last data value. So mine goes from 165 to 300. 300 is bigger than the 295, and the 165 is less than the 173. So all these values are somewhere on that number line. I decided to start at 165 and go up by 15. So I get 180, 195, up by 15 till I hit 300. So that is up to you. You look at your values and you set up a number line. And usually it's every 10 or 15, you're going to put a number. And make sure you've covered all your numbers. Okay, now, in order to create a box and whisker plot, the first thing we do is locate the minimum value. So here it is 173. So you find that on your number line, approximately. It's about somewhere in here. Draw little dotted lines down, put a point. Underneath it, write 173. That's the minimum value. Then you're going to write the maximum value, which is 295. That's going to be somewhere about in here. And you drop that down opposite this. And you put a point and you write 295. So you put the min and the max. You start with 2 points. And then you connect them with the line segment. And that would be this segment up here from the min to the max. And then now we're going to come up with our box. Okay, so we drop the min, we drop the max, then we connected the two. All right, now the first thing we do after the min and the max, we're going to create 3 points called Q1, Q2, and Q3. Quartile 1, quartile 2, quartile 3. You start with quartile 2. And what that is, it's the median of your data. It's the median value. There are 11 values, an odd number. So the middle one would be the 6th one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6th value is the median, 239. And that is your Q sub 2. And so now you go to 239, which is about here. Drop it down, put a point, put your 239, and underneath that, write your Q sub 2. So that's the first point we come up with, the median. Now, what that does is it takes the data and organizes it into the lower half and the upper half. The values to the left of the median, the values to the right of the median. Okay? Now we're going to take the values to the left. You don't include the median. You look at these values, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now you take the median of these 5 values. And it would be the third value, 181. That's a median. That's quartile 1, Q1. So now 181 is somewhere over in here. We put a point, we put 181, and we write Q sub 1. There's our first quartile mark. And then we go over to the upper half, these 5 values. And 257 is in the middle of these 5. That's a median. That one would be Q sub 3. So 257's about right here. We draw it down. We get 257 and we hit quartile 3. Does everybody see what we've done so far? We started with the min and the max, connected them, then we found the median overall and called it Q2. Then that gave us a lower half and an upper half. Then we took the median of the lower half, which was 181, Q1, and the median of the upper half, which was 257.23. And now we're ready to draw the box. So now you go to Q1 and draw the box down and all the way over to Q3 and up, and then all the way over back to Q sub 1. And there's your box. You then also draw a segment through Q2. And now you have the box and whiskers. These are the whiskers. And you've got 4 quartiles. And what did I tell you? These segments don't have to be equal length. But what we know is that this quartile here contains the same number of data values as each of these. If you take a look, there are 2 values to the left of Q1, 2 values between Q1 and Q2, 2 values between Q2 and Q3, and 2 values after Q3. So each quartile contains 2 values. And that's your box and whisker plot. So we know this big box contains 50% of the data. To the right of Q1 would be 75% of the data. To the left of Q1 is just 25% of the data. That's how this works. All right? I'm going to do one more problem, and this time we'll use an even number of data values. This was an odd number, and so there was a middle value, and there were middle values for the lower half and the upper half. But there you have it. That's a box and whisker plot. Okay, hope you got that. Now we'll do one last problem and let you go. So here we go. We start with data. The data up here is not in order. These are ages of people, and we want to put them in a box and whisker plot. So the first thing you have to do is take these values and put them in order. So you see 15, then you see 20, then you see 25, 30, 40, 55, 60, 70. So now you've ordered them from left to right. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's an even number of values. There are 8 values here. Okay? So what do we start with? We draw a number line. Okay, we draw the number line. Now this time, I'm going to start at 10, which is to the left of 15, and I actually am going to end at 70. And I'm going to go up by 10. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70. So I took it from 10 to 70, going up by 10. That's our number line. It covers these values. Okay? So after you order the numbers, you draw your number line. All right. And now we start making the box and whisker plot. And what did we say we did first? we took the minimum value, 15, which is right here. Got that down, put a point, call it 15. Then we took the maximum value, 70, which is right here, put it opposite 15 and make that 70. And then you connect with the straight line from 15 to 70. That's our segment on which we're going to make the box and whisker plot. All right, start with the min and the max. Now, the first thing we did, the next thing we did is go up to the data values and find the median. That'll be Q sub 2. And you have 8 values, which means you have to go to the 4th and the 5th and take the average to find the median. And so it is 35. Okay, and that is Q sub 2. 35 is the median right through here. 35. And that gives you a lower half of 4 values and an upper half of 4 values. You don't count the median. You get 4 to the left, 4 to the right. So 35 is right here. So we're drawing that down. We're putting in 35 and we're calling it Q sub 2. Now we have to compute Q sub 1. And so you take the 4 values to the left and you find the median. So it would be the second and third values, you take the average. And that's going to be 22.5. And that's going to be Q sub 1. So 22.5 is about here. We put this 22.5, and that's Q sub 1. Then you do the upper half, these 4 values. You take these 2, and that's 57.5. And that'll be your Q sub 3. So 57.5 is somewhere in here. Draw our 57.5 and put Q sub 3. All right, so we're drawing a box and whisker plot. We found the min, we found the max, then we found Q sub 2, the median. That gave us a lower and an upper half. We found the median of the lower half at 22.5. That was Q sub 1. And the median of the upper half was 57.5. That's Q sub 3. And now you go from Q sub 1, just draw it through, draw it over, up to here, and over to here. And there's your box. And then you draw a segment through Q sub 2. And now you've got your box and your whiskers. Each of these quartiles contain 25% of your data. That's what we know. To the left of this quartile would be these 2 values. Between these 2 would be these 2. Then these 2, then those 2. So each quartile contains 2 data values. They contain the same number of data values. Each quartile contains 25% of the data. That's what we know. And that's a box and whisker plot. And that wraps things up. That is your last lecture of the year.